it could be that you were victim not number 1, but you're victim number 10.
Yeah.
And there were 9 other people who felt like that, but they let it slide. Yeah, so I do feel like this is something that we do for ourselves, but there is an effect in overall making the workplace much better, much safer for everyone.
Hey, it's the Ask Work It segment of the podcast. If you have a question that you're struggling with in the workplace, why not write to us? We are at cnapodcast@mediacorp.com.sg, or you can just comment wherever you're listening from. Today, Gerald, we have an AMA that comes from Joey, who shared an experience that many people may quietly relate to, but often struggle to speak openly about. So Joey works in a junior role and says there is a senior director in her company who frequently makes inappropriate sexual jokes and comments at work. So over time, many colleagues seem to have become used to it. And while people may privately acknowledge that the behavior is uncomfortable, nobody really steps in publicly when it happens. Joey shared that some comments were directed specifically at her and another junior female colleague, including remarks about their bodies and repeated sexual jokes during ordinary workplace conversations.
That's tough.
Yeah, so she also described feeling disappointed when she raised the issue internally and was told that this is just how he is, especially because the individual is apparently leaving the company soon.
So it's a good thing for the company.
It's a good thing for the company, but then doesn't it feel like Joey is being shafted to the side? Like, hey, it's fine. The problem will solve itself. We don't need to help you right now. So I don't know. What do you think that Joey can do?
Well, I think, firstly, I'm glad that Joey wrote in, right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that she's also started to be more aware and of these things being not right, because one of the biggest challenges for people is we second guess. We second guess whether something like that is it right or wrong. There's really fine lines. I don't know, from your own experiences, have you often encountered things like that before?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have. For me, it took place really early in my career. I was fresh in the workplace and I didn't know what to do about it, but it seemed like everybody else was just brushing it off with a laugh, so I would just brush it off with a joke or two as well.
So you're wondering, like, is it me or is it them? Am I just being
Exactly.
overly sensitive?
Yeah, and you don't want to be the new guy coming into a workplace and shaking things up, just saying like, this is all wrong, you shouldn't be doing this. Like,
Especially if the person is of a higher designation, right?
exactly, which is the case here. It seems to be there's a clear power imbalance. Yeah.
So I do think that, for Joey, being able to be aware that this is not correct, all right, this is inappropriate, I think it's a really, really good awareness already.
Right.
Because many of us, we don't reach that awareness and we let it slide. And then after a while, it becomes normalized. And then this is what maybe most of Joey's colleagues are. They let it normalize. After a long while, they just say, yeah, he's like that one.
And it emboldens the perpetrator because then they feel like, oh, I mean, I got away with this, so I'll just do it again.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So I think setting some boundaries would be really, really important. And I think the boundaries would be not just for Joey to know within herself, but also to be able to articulate those boundaries out.
Right. So, but how exactly do you go about setting those boundaries without, drawing too much attention to yourself in the wrong way?
Yeah, I mean, if this person is of a higher designation, I do think that having that conversation on a one-to-one basis would be quite useful. Maybe you can take this to the person and say, I wanted to bring up some of the comments that you often say, and it does make me feel a bit uncomfortable.
Right.
Or very uncomfortable, yeah.
I feel like in this case, it will be very difficult for Joey because she is also the victim in this, right? She's basically going up to someone who has been making very inappropriate comments about her at work. And then she has to take them out one-on-one in a meeting room and talk to them about this. I feel like that's very difficult to do.
Yeah. So before reaching that decision to have that conversation, perhaps do a little bit of a check, like, with people who are your colleagues, whether they feel the same way as well.
Right.
If there are people who also feel the same way, then at least you know that, yes, there is a real issue, and this should maybe embolden Joey to really speak up her mind.
Right.
Towards her boss, her leader, to tell the leader that, this is really inappropriate for me. Yeah.
Right. But what if it doesn't change anything? What if, she has that one-on-one with the senior colleague and the senior colleague just goes like, you know what, you're overreacting. I've been doing this a long time. and no one has raised any issues. And so I feel like you need to take a step back and reevaluate yourself. And then they just leave and they continue like doing the same thing all the way until they, as Joey has said, eventually leave the company.
Yeah, so I think that's why it's important before doing this. I think Joey has to be very clear, has certain lines been crossed.
Right.
I mean, even if the boss does not acknowledge and doesn't admit to this, I think it's really good for Joey because she's kind of stating her line. And if the boss doesn't want to change, and sometimes Nat, it's really really difficult
It is.
for people to change their ways, especially if they don't see it. I think what you just said, like how nobody has said it before. So the problem is you, not me.
Yeah.
It's likely going to be the case. So if it's that case, then after a while, if things get out of hand, all right, and the person doesn't change their behavior in front of Joey and maybe intensifies the situation, then I think it's important for Joey to take it to the next level, to escalate it to HR. And if things gets even further out of hand, then maybe a better job, look for somewhere else where the environment is a lot more suitable.
Right.
Yeah.
So in taking this up to HR, because in Joey's write-in, she did say that she raised this to some people at a senior level, or like she did notify people in the organization that this is happening, and they just said, yeah, this is how he is. So let's say in the worst case situation that HR is the one who is saying that. HR tells her, you know what, it's a lot of paperwork to go and do anything now, especially since he's leaving. Just let old men be old men.
If any HR people are listening to this, they should really make it a point to document it down, really, because I think it's to set the signal to the people who are remaining in the company that such things are not tolerated.
Yeah.
Right. Just because someone is leaving and then we are saying, okay, the bad practice is out, but it doesn't mean that the people who are remaining, they won't follow, you see.
Right. So it's beyond just this one person, this one incident, or these multiple incidents. It's really making sure that in the wake of this person leaving, nobody steps up and takes his place to be the one to make inappropriate comments. It's a safer workplace at the end of the day.
Yeah, in this particular case, because the boss is leaving, then okay, it's a good thing for the company. But what if the boss doesn't leave? And then this continues to perpetuate, and in fact, good people like Joey might leave.
Yeah.
So what kind of signal are you sending? So organizations really have the responsibility. They need to do these things properly. At least have the HR person at the very least should be that the gatekeeper, to encourage employees to speak up about some such things, and then put them on file, put them on record, so that in future, when things happen, there's at least something to back up the incident lah. I mean, very often, if HR don't do this, and if something really terrible happens, right, then they have to scramble anyway to gather all these evidences. So might as well do it properly from the beginning.
Right. Okay. So for on Joey's end, what are the things that she should be documenting? I'm thinking, what was said by the guy, when this happened, who was around, and like how many people were there, and like what their reactions were. Are these the kind of things to document when you are aware that this is happening and you want to make some change?
Yeah, definitely so. So keeping a record of such conversations, if there's screenshots, then it's great. If not, then the people around you, like if they were there present at the conversation and they heard something was being said, right, then I think they can also be roped in to put up a case. But sometimes it's also difficult, like they don't want to get involved in supporting your case lah. So sometimes it's you really do need to look for people who see your point of view and also are nearby you enough to see what is really happening, so that they can vouch for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm also very aware that even if Joey goes through all of these steps, documentation, one-to-one engagement with this person to flag to them that it's not right, and then at the end of the day, maybe going to HR or to management to say, hey, this makes me really uncomfortable, it's likely not going to result in immediate changes. So why should she go about doing this at all?
Firstly, for herself, as we've been saying, that when you speak up for yourself, you will feel a sense of empowerment, that that nobody can bully you in a sense.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody can bully you, and you have your own you know your rights, and you know where you stand, and the actions of people shouldn't determine how you feel about yourself. Right? So I think that's the sense of empowerment. The second thing is, of course, to help the rest of the people in the company. There could be people who will come up to you after that and say, look, I felt the same way.
Yeah.
And I wish I did what you did. And I think this is also helping other people to come to terms with what really has happened, because it could be that you were victim not number 1, but you're victim number 10.
Yeah.
And there were 9 other people who felt like that, but they let it slide. Yeah, so I do feel like this is something that we do for ourselves, but there is an effect in overall making the workplace much better, much safer for everyone.
Well, Joey, you are in a tough situation. We hope that this conversation between me and Gerald was useful, and we hope the best for you. Do let us know if things work out and you're able to get the right thing done for yourself and potentially for all the other people who are being affected by this person in your workplace. For anyone else, if you are watching, listening, and you just thought up a problem that you have in the workplace, maybe similar to Joey's, maybe not, just write into us, comment wherever you're listening to us from. We are at cnapodcast@mediacorp.com.sg.
I'm Gerald.
And I'm Nat. Remember, your courage might not change everything immediately, but it will help someone else feel less alone.